Magnatrac, the American-made compact crawlers. With a Magnatrac, you can save money by doing the crawler tough jobs around your home, farm, and cottage. Use Magnatrac power to make money in a profitable business of your own, or just use it to earn extra cash on the side. You're the boss when you're at the controls of a Magnatrac, doing your own jobs your own way. With a Magnatrac, you can dig swimming pools and fish ponds, excavate for sidewalks, patios, and waterways, or dig a basement for that new cottage you're building. Construct roads, nature trails, and fire breaks, grade driveways and parking lots, do the preparation work for concrete basement and garage floors. Build berms and terraces, do complete landscaping projects. Move trees, bushes, railroad ties, and other landscaping materials. Excavate for septic tanks and drainage fields. Move valuable logs around a home woodlot. Haul supplies and equipment around a construction site. Have the power and strength to tackle the really tough jobs without fear of equipment damage or flat tires. Or just tap into the Magnatrac's brute strength to clear land or dig out stubborn small trees. The Hydro was designed specifically for the heavy-duty needs of the homeowner and the compact crawler requirements of the light commercial contractor. Requirements that need a no-nonsense crawler solution to material handling in tight areas. Let's begin our Magnatrac Hydro story by looking at the features that have made it the leader for more than 25 years. With many times the footprint of similar horsepower wheel tractors, a Magnatrac Hydro grips the ground with such force that it can move tons of material in just minutes. The Hydro's larger footprint gives it the ability to bridge over chuck holes and almost float in messy conditions. Try this with any wheel tractor. To get a feeling for the actual size of a Magnatrac Hydro, let's compare it against a full-sized four-door sedan. At over 66 inches long and 44 inches high, the standard Magnatrac Hydro is about 1/3 the length and approximately 2/3 the height of the sedan. Add the loader, rear hitch, ballast box, and protective structure, and you are approximately 2/3 the length of the sedan and about 2 feet higher. With a width of a little over 48 inches, the Magnatrac Hydro is approximately 2/3 the width of the sedan. This narrow width means you can easily slip through narrow gates and work between trees and backyard swing sets. Push both hydraulic track controls forward and the Hydro moves forward. Release both controls and the Hydro comes to a prompt, unpowered stop. With one control forward and the other rearward, you can easily counter-rotate the tracks. Hit the overdrive and you gain a little extra speed to get you out of an excavation or over to a dump spot. In an opposite manner, pull rearward on both controls and you move to the rear. With similar ease, hit the overdrive for a little additional speed. A Magnatrac Hydro can operate efficiently in virtually any type of terrain. Its all-steel tracks and shoes, with a combined thickness of almost a ½ inch, can take the punishment of working in stone. You can work in tangled brush and hard-packed gravel with complete confidence. You never need fear that hidden objects will ever stop your puncture-proof tracks. If the weather turns bad, you and your Hydro can take on the worst of conditions, like moving a small mountain of snow, or doing serious work in water and gooey mud. You can even handle a slippery, manure-packed cow yard on an early fall morning. With its low center of gravity and wide stance, a Magnatrac driven by a trained, responsible operator can do serious hillside work with complete safety. Magnatrac stability, coupled to its high-torque, all-track traction, makes the tough jobs easy. With the ability to pull a solid steel rear-mounted ripper a full 24 inches into the ground and the power to move a 3,000-pound rock without hesitation, you know your Magnatrac Hydro can deliver consistent, money-saving, money-making performance. Magnatrac Operation. Let's go outside now and see all the different types of work a Magnatrac HYDRO can really do. Drawbar work is the most basic task for a hydro. Its full track traction and high torque ability makes it the perfect prime mover for pulling wagon loads of soil from an excavation, towing brush and trees out of a woodlot, spotting equipment on a job site, or just moving a couple of valuable logs up to a sawmill. With one hand, the operator can lower, apply down pressure, and raise his six-way blade. In a similar manner, and with equal ease, he can tilt the blade to the right, or tilt it to the left, angle it to the right, or angle it to the left, all with effortless hydraulic control. Its hydraulics are so strong, the operator can actually steer difficult loads while on the go. With commercial blade toughness, it can slam into concrete, rocks, and more rocks. Due to its heavy-duty construction, the six-way blade can be used constantly under full load. Here we see how the blade's hardened cutting edge carves out sod to begin a V-shaped ditch, the perfect start in a construction of a terrace or waterway. Note how the hydro can take a full 54-inch cut, even in this dry material. Use it to backpull material to fill holes and depressions for a professional finish. Using both its down pressure and angling features, you can sculpture ponds or build earth berms. Being all hydraulic, the operator has constant control of all six-way blade functions. Mount the full-size 3-point rear hitch to your Magnatrac HYDRO, and you can operate any standard Category 1 implement. Attach a 6-foot grater blade, and you can sculpt tons of soil and gravel, or do finish leveling of an established driveway. Plow gardens and small acreage with a full-size 2-bottom plow. Attach a double disc and cut up plowed soil for crop planting or lawn seeding. Pull a scoop to form 24-inch wide waterways and ditches, or use it as an economical substitution for a pickup loader. For the really tough jobs, use our 5-shank ripper to rip sod in preparation for excavating. Or before grading, use it to tear hard-packed driveways like this. Note how the operator uses the down pressure of the rear hitch to drive the ripper teeth deep into the gravel. This down pressure feature, plus all-track drive, makes the Magnatrac HYDRO an unstoppable ripping powerhouse. Use a multi-tined landscape rake to smooth soil before seeding, or use it to give your driveway a nice finished look. With a rear platform attachment, you can carry a full load of hay to hungry steers, move a few landscape timbers at a nursery, or transport some concrete blocks to the other side of a construction site. With 1,000 pounds of lift ability, you can pick up tree trunks and move them out of a woodlot. Attach a rear-mounted crane, and you can handle heavy attachments without back strain. With over 7 feet of lift, your crane acts as a heavy-duty robotic arm. An all-hydraulic power takeoff is available to power any Category 1 540 RPM implement. Use it to power a Husky rotary cutter and cut tough vegetation and light saplings. Remember, there are no flat tires with a steel track Magnatrac. Hitch up to a tiller and work up gardens or small nursery plots. With a Magnatrac's compact size, you can work between crops and plantings with accuracy and confidence. Whether you're putting in one fence post or a mile of them, a powered auger can bore a hole over 3 feet deep and make fun out of what used to be back-breaking labor. Various auger diameters and shapes are available. The smaller diameter augers are used for regular fence posts. The larger diameters are used in small pole barn construction. Special shaped augers are used to bore holes for the planting of trees and bushes. With a sickle bar mower mounted to your hydro, you can make short work out of a field of pesky weeds, or cut an acre or two of hay for your horses. During an electrical storm, there's no better sound than a hydro driving an electrical generator. With it, you'll have the electricity you need to keep your home warm and comfortable until full power is restored. Your Magnatrac HYDRO's hydraulic system can also be used to power remote equipment. Here we're powering a hydraulically driven auger mounted to the underside of the loader's bucket. Note how the operator uses the loader's lift and bucket actions to produce a clean, straight hole. Use the hydro's standard hydraulic system to do the heavy work, like dumping this 2,000-pound load of soil. Again, you are using Magnatrac strength to get your work done quickly and without strain. Think for a moment how much work you could get done in an hour with your Magnatrac compared to the back-breaking effort required using old hand methods. You can even hydraulically power a bucket-mounted or rear hitch-mounted log splitter. These are just a few of the reasons why your Magnatrac HYDRO is such a versatile and valuable piece of equipment. Equip your eager Magnatrac HYDRO with a loader and you have a crawler powerhouse that can easily dig full bucket loads and tear sod loose with over 2,000 pounds of force. You can blast through snowbanks and move tons of snow in just minutes. Or dig, lift, and move material uphill without hesitation and in unstable materials like loose gravel and stone. You have the power and traction to move almost a half-ton of gooey mud. In addition, you have the confidence of many times the flotation of comparable four-wheel drive tractors. With almost a half-ton of lifting ability, your loader can move logs up to a sawmill. Use it to keep a cement mixing operation going in an area that larger equipment just can't reach. Or just complete that special project when other equipment isn't available. Backpull soil and gravel to quickly and smoothly level an area. Have the power and traction to move oversized bucket loads up difficult inclines to get material exactly where you want it. Dig excavations for ponds and basements. Cut full-width excavations for new sidewalks. In this demonstration, an excavation 40 feet long by the bucket's 4-foot width has been excavated to a depth of approximately 6 inches in a measured time of 6 minutes and 18 seconds. Note how the operator holds his bucket level as he makes his final pass to square his excavation. Hitting an obstruction, the Magnatrac HYDRO uses its reserve power, cutting through cleanly and actually moving more material than its bucket was designed to normally handle. Use a hydro and loader to clear an area by pushing down saplings and small trees. Have the digging strength, even at awkward angles, to dig out smaller trees for quick disposal or later replanting. No matter what the job, a Magnatrac HYDRO is always ready to do a full day's work. Strong, quick bucket loading, compact size, turn-on-a-dime all-track drive, and live hydraulics that allow on-the-go bucket operation. These are just a few of the Magnatrac's outstanding features. These quality features allow you to work in unstable conditions like this barnyard. You'll have the traction and thrust to fully load your bucket without spinning wheels. Your all-steel tracks will float over soft materials. In addition, you'll have the confidence that you won't blow out a tire driving over a jagged piece of fence wire. With this confidence, you can safely concentrate on the work at hand. With a low center of gravity and a long reach, a Magnatrac HYDRO can easily load mid-sized dump trucks. Using its turn-on-a-dime ability, it can quickly fill its bucket and get into position. The operator, sitting high in his seat, can easily adjust the loader on the go to set a safe clearance distance between the loader and the truck. With a generous lift ability, the hydro loader can fully empty its bucket with ease. Using Magnatrac's brute strength, you can totally fill a dump truck from one side. By pushing earlier bucket loads across the truck's bed width, the operator makes room for more. There's no wasted time with a Magnatrac HYDRO. You'll always have never-quit Magnatrac power, whether you're pushing a bucket-filling 3,000-pound rock or an additional 1,000-pounder that just got in the way. Pulling 4 pins releases the bucket. By simply removing 2 mounting pins, you can substitute a Husky dozer blade. Use it in the straight-ahead position to push soil, rocks, and chunks of broken concrete. By resetting the blade's mounting pins, you can angle the blade up to 24 degrees, left or right. With the blade fully angled, note how the Magnatrac, without hesitation, can take a full blade full of soil and positively and accurately create a windrow to the left. It's perfect for backfilling trenches. Reverse the pin settings and the blade angles right. Note how the blade moves the snow to the right in a smooth rolling action. By hydraulically rotating downward, a blade already set at an angle, in this case an angle to the left, causes it to cut a V trench in the ground. This action allows the cutting and clearing of ditches and the shaping of landscape berms. With the blade set in the straight-ahead position, you can roll it forward hydraulically. This allows you to backpull and grade material smoothly and accurately. The backhoe is set up by lowering the left and right stabilizers, gaining almost 10 feet of left to right support. The lowered front bucket provides forward stability. With the bucket open, the backhoe can reach out over 11 feet. This reach allows you to work wet areas and between buildings where even your narrow Magnatrac may not fit. Raising the bucket, the operator pushes the backhoe's wobble control to the viewer's left. This rotates the bucket to the left until it hits a rubber stop. Pushing the wobble control to the viewer's right rotates the bucket through an arc of 164 degrees to a stop on the right. Rotating the bucket through an arc of 82 degrees, the operator returns the bucket back to a centerline position. Here he precisely drops his bucket between 2 stakes spaced only a few inches wider than the bucket itself. Now the operator curls the bucket to a proper cutting angle while drawing it in toward him. Note how the sod is cut and curled into the bucket. With a short move to the operator's left, the bucket is spotted. It unloads quickly. With hydraulic ease, the bucket returns to the trench for another cut. If the going gets tough and tree roots or rocks start appearing in your trench, you can quickly switch over to a narrower bucket to gain more force per inch. Or you may want to add our single-tooth frost and chisel rippers, which will make short work of the most stubborn materials. They're also handy for ripping hard materials prior to excavating. Note that by adding just a few more passes, the trench is starting to gain depth. The bucket moves smoothly with over 1.5 tons of digging force. Though a 16-inch bucket is being demonstrated, 8, 13, 24, and 36-inch buckets are also available. Now, while our operator moves the Magnatrac HYDRO backhoe to a new location down the trench line, let's take note of some of the backhoe's most important features. Without a doubt, a backhoe will prove to be the most important attachment in your operation. It's superior to other backhoes because it is designed and manufactured by the same company, the Struck Corporation. There is no divided manufacturing responsibility and no compromise in the design of the backhoe. The backhoe is an integral part of the overall tractor-loader backhoe design, not an afterthought addition. The backhoe fits the Magnatrac perfectly. No compromises had to be made in its design to accommodate other manufacturers' tractors. In addition, the backhoe mounts solidly on the Magnatrac HYDRO. It's not a quickie 3-point hitch mount, a method which most engineers readily admit is not very durable. A Magnatrac HYDRO backhoe is ruggedly built. It features a positive dual-cylinder, hydraulically powered swing mechanism. Its deep box section boom and dipper arm are fully reinforced for rigidity, even in rocky work. The entire unit is engineered to provide extra strength at points that bear heavy loads and stresses. Precision hydraulic controls are used to eliminate potential problems. There's no limit to the type of work you can do with a backhoe-equipped Magnatrac HYDRO. Dig footings, irrigation ditches, wiring trenches, drain fields, pipelines, and even swimming pools. Do it all and much, much more. With its tucked-in design, it can be used close to buildings and similar obstacles without any loss of power or maneuverability. The site selected for our next demonstration was a natural sod pasture It had remained undisturbed for more than 35 years that we know of. The soil was a clay loam on a heavy red clay subsoil base. Even though we were working in old established sod, the raw power of a Magnatrac backhoe allowed us to use our largest 36-inch bucket to demonstrate the procedure for digging a sidewalk excavation. During this demonstration, an excavation 36 inches wide, 8 inches deep, and 20 feet long was dug in a measured time of 8 minutes and 14 seconds. This included the time necessary to move the backhoe in addition to the actual digging time. On average, during the demonstration, the backhoe was able to dig 3 bucketfuls of material before it had to move down the trench line and reset itself. Even though the backhoe is working at capacity with an extremely wide bucket, note how the backhoe's heavy box construction resists twisting and bending to produce clean, square cuts. Though this has just been a demonstration, and local conditions will vary individual results, it does go a long way to point out the quality and money-making professionalism that can be achieved with a Magnatrac HYDRO and backhoe. But you're not limited to digging with a Magnatrac backhoe. You can load wagons and dump trucks on the go, just like a loader. Using the backhoe's stability and long reach, you can dig and load in a single smooth operation. Note how the backhoe handles our 36-inch wide bucket, digging over 4 cubic feet of material in a single pass. With its generous reach and a liftability at the bucket of 500 pounds, you can load heavy loads deeply into a truck, trailer, or wagon. By taking full advantage of the Magnatrac's sure-footed all-steel tracks, you can work your backhoe in softer, less stable materials with confidence. Though extra care should be used in working in less stable conditions like this, you'll still have the full strength of your Magnatrac backhoe at your disposal. Use it to dig, tear, and move material that would be virtually impossible hand methods. Your Magnatrac backhoe is perfect for clearing shorelines around ponds and lakes. Use it to clear existing waterways or dig ditches to drain wet areas around your home, farm, or cottage. Install a set of log forks in your 16-inch wide or larger bucket, and you open a whole new world of material handling. The forks are 22 inches long and are made from a 4-inch wide by 1/2-inch thick bar of solid steel with a 1-inch square steel reinforcement underneath each fork. An adjustable steel thumb is mounted to the inside surface of the dipper arm. This thumb holds logs and other loads with a pinching action when used in conjunction with the bucket-mounted forks. With a pinching action rated in the thousands of pounds, you have the ability to grab onto heavy, bulky objects like this pole with a vice-like grip. The powerful rotational action of your bucket translates into smooth, controllable fork operation. Note how you are able to pick out a single log from this group of logs with vice-like precision. With a 1/4 ton liftability, you can easily raise and manipulate difficult loads. The dual-cylinder rotating system of your backhoe lets you locate loads precisely. To unload your forks, you do not trip them and release your load in a dangerous, uncontrollable manner. Rather, because of your all-hydraulic bucket control, you unload your forks at a safe, controllable rate. Though the ripper tooth attachment was designed to cut roots and dislodge rocks in trenches, it also does a good job of ripping soil and gravel before excavating. Bucket strength and lifting ability of the backhoe is well demonstrated as we pick up and move a rock that totally fills our 36-inch wide bucket. If you need additional rear clearance and overall compactness, you can rotate your backhoe's boom and dipper against the backside of your Magnatrac. If more clearance is desired, you can spend a few minutes to release 4 hoses and remove 2 pivot pins. This will allow you to fully remove your bucket, dipper, and 2 control cylinders. This procedure will greatly reduce both your rear overhanging weight and your overall tractor length. Rotating the remaining boom against the rear of your HYDRO will further reduce your overall length, allowing you to work in even tighter spaces. Mount a chain bracket to your boom and you'll have an 800-pound capacity robotic arm. Hook up to a couple of husky logs and you can effortlessly move them out of the woods. Replace your dipper and add a remote auger and your robotic arm can bore accurate holes in difficult terrain. Reinstall your bucket and forks and you can not only lift and handle material, but where level conditions permit, carry loads in a side saddle fashion. And now in a demonstration that breaks all the rules, the backhoe operator will grab on and lift a log weighing in at almost 700 pounds. Though this is definitely not a recommended procedure, it does dramatically illustrate the strength of the backhoe's grip and the extreme twist resistance of the backhoe's construction. With a Magnatrac backhoe, you know you have the power and durability to get the tough jobs done. Over the years, we have received hundreds of enthusiastic comments from customers all over the world who have put their Magnatracs to the test. Tom Klutz of Indiana was so impressed with his Magnatrac's performance that he actually took the time to sit down and make a video to tell us how he used his new crawler. In his video, he told us of the, well, why don't we just let Tom speak for himself?
My name is Tom Klutz, Vice President of Klutz Well Drilling Incorporated in North Manchester, Indiana. You sent me a video that demonstrated your equipment. I was impressed with it. It was high quality and it was a very nice video. The only thing I would like to point out to you, however, is the fact that the equipment that you build actually will do a lot more work than your video really does show. So I'm going to take you through this past summer with me and show you a lot of the jobs that we've done. We use the backhoe several times a week for our business, and we've made a lot of profit with it. I've been very satisfied with the quality of it, and it has held up well.
In the course of his video, Tom did take us through an extremely interesting tour of the projects he'd completed for himself and others. From his video, I have selected clips from his most ambitious and interesting project, a pond his neighbor hired him to build. Starting his project, he surveyed the area and drove stakes around the perimeter of the proposed pond, establishing an outline. The top of the stakes were set at the finished water level. The source of water for the pond was planned to be runoff from the neighbor's lawn. Tom's first job was to strip off sod and topsoil from the area. He moved it past his perimeter stakes so that he could create a watertight tapered berm that would eventually hold all the water back. Some days later, we see how the pond has progressed. It has taken its final form, with its deepest point being about 7 feet. The whole project, he reports, took approximately 80 to 100 hours and was done at a price both he and his neighbor were extremely satisfied with.
Well, here's the pond that I built that I showed you, had the pictures of, and showed it under construction earlier. And as you can see, it's a nice pond. We call these pool ponds. A lot of people have them around here. I've got some dirt here in the back yet. We need to level off. We're going to wait till next spring because we have some finish work we'd like to do around it yet. But as you can tell, definitely moved a lot of dirt for this project. As you can see while I'm talking, see the bass swimming around in the pond out there? It's pretty interesting. Basically, I just showed you some of the things here around our property that I wanted to do for several years. And we've had drainage problems. I put in a lot of ditches, as you can tell. I put in waterways. I did a lot of leveling around our own pond. Plus I built the pond for our neighbor. And we put in probably several water lines. They were 5.5 feet deep. Some of these water lines are as much as 250 feet. I've done a lot of ditch work for our neighbor down here. I've built dams around ponds and stuff for other people that had problems with water washing them out. I've done a lot of work with this. I've really been impressed with it, and I really believe that if most people that were interested in small excavation jobs had a piece of equipment like this, that they could probably turn a decent profit. I really think they could.
Many customers build special purpose attachments to harness the power of their Magnatracs and to get special jobs done. Richard Ketchum of Texas is one of those individuals, and he sent us a video demonstrating his extremely clever and effective tree root ripper. Basically, it's a heavy steel bar formed into the shape of a saber. It's then mounted to his loader by attaching it to our standard front mounting bracket. With its sharpened point and saw-like serrations, he's able to penetrate the ground around any tree he wishes to remove. Using the loader's lift and bucket hydraulics, he works his ripper up and down and forward and back, creating a cut path around the tree. This action cuts and tears all the side support roots as he makes his way completely around the tree. In an elapsed time of less than 12 minutes, he has done sufficient ripping to start the process of overturning the tree. Using the brute strength of his Magnatrac, he starts to push high on the tree to gain leverage and to start tearing and snapping the tree's underside roots which he couldn't reach earlier with his ripper. With the power of his Magnatrac, he begins to overwhelm the tree. With the snapping of its final support roots, the tree comes crashing to the forest floor. With the tree down, Mr. Ketchum drives the sharp point of his ripper into the underside of the tree's root ball. Now, using the Magnatrac loader's hydraulics, he is able to raise the root ball sufficiently high to allow the Magnatrac to push the entire tree to the road. Here he will cut it up for firewood and take it home. Robert Hackman of Virginia has used his Magnatrac on virtually every corner of his 117-acre property. Though I never intended the Magnatrac to tackle the vast projects you're about to see, it does show how the Magnatrac HYDRO can even surprise its own designer. I have selected some clips from a video he sent us to give you an idea of the type of work he has done. But here's Bob to introduce himself.
Hello, I'm Bob Hackman. I live here in South Central Virginia. This is my good-looking tractor. When I decided to buy property, I had a lot of projects in mind, a lot of things I wanted to do. I knew I couldn't afford to have them done by contractors. I needed to buy myself a tractor. It took me 2 years to find this place, and during that time, I looked at a lot of tractors. My choices came down to second-hand tractors, 10 to 15 years old, that I knew nothing about, where I could buy new equipment from the Struck Company. I chose to buy new equipment from the Struck Company for a number of reasons. First off, they're an old established company. It's been around for a long time. I got their literature. They made a crawler tractor with a backhoe and a loader. It was well constructed, well engineered. I like the fact that they didn't just make a tractor, they made it all. They made it all, and it was all designed to work as one unit. Best of all, I like the fact that it only took a few contractor hours to equal the price of Struck equipment. It was affordable. It was not only affordable to buy it, but it was affordable to maintain it, because you could do it yourself. It should be very reasonable to run it. I have run it quite a bit, done a lot of work with it, got about 1,500 hours on it. I have been able to, with the help of company instruction manuals, assemble it, operate it, and maintain it all by myself, although I had no previous experience whatsoever with tractors. I'm about a third of the way through my project. I don't know that I'll ever finish it. It's a pretty long list to start with, and I keep adding things to it. I've got so many things going with this tractor, I just don't know how I got along without it. I expected an awful lot from this tractor, and I certainly have not been disappointed. Well, I'd like to show you what I'm doing, what I'm working on. I'll show you how to take a Magnatrac, your Magnatrac tractor, and turn your dream into a reality, a very satisfying, solid reality.
And show us he did. Bob put his Magnatrac with customized bucket and exhaust through its paces. In almost 2 hours of informative video, he demonstrated jobs ranging from clearing brush to the complete removal of standing trees. Here, after digging at the tree's side roots, he pushes high on the tree, checking its condition. Determining more digging is required, he resumes digging, removing additional soil from around the tree. In addition to digging, he utilizes his bucket teeth to continue their cutting and tearing action on the remaining support roots. His tree starts to lose its grip. Rolling his bucket back with almost 2,000 pounds of force, he drives the bucket teeth into the root ball. Now, raising his loader arms, he begins to tear the lower tap roots. Lunging forward, he utilizes the tons of force produced by his track system, tearing out all remaining roots and releasing the tree's last grip. He removes smaller trees and brush simply with the brute strength of his Magnatrac. Without pre-digging, he drives his bucket below grade, engaging the roots in the bucket's teeth. In a sweeping motion, he tears the brush out of the ground. Demonstrating full use of his loader's strength, he shows how he can easily manhandle this half-ton slab of concrete. If bulky, heavy material must be moved, he knows his Magnatrac is up to the job. Here he shows how easily he can slip his loader bucket under this awkward chunk of concrete. With a breakaway lift of 2,000 pounds, his Magnatrac has what it takes. Bob's job list includes moving stumps of trees he's removed, or doing the finish work on this pond he built completely with his Magnatrac. Measuring 30 feet by 75 feet in size, he built it to provide a dependable water supply for the large garden he's developing. With a chain attached to his bucket, he drags logs from a ravine. Having previously completed the grading step of a driveway extension he's constructing, Bob shows how he uses his loader and bucket to begin the first step in laying down a gravel base. Note how easily he can smooth and level his material using the Magnatrac's live on-the-go hydraulics. Moving a mound of brush he's cleared, he eliminates a fire hazard from a roadside. Washouts are a constant maintenance item. Here he patches one up near a spillway he's constructed. Not being one to take on the small jobs, Bob continues his grading of a bank running along a stream through his property. Bringing his video to an end, Bob shares a thought typical of a Magnatrac owner's attitude toward the impossibility of the tasks he performs.
Persistence is makes the impossible possible.
Magnatrac HYDRO, the money-saving, money-making powerhouse crawler. Whether you're a homeowner, part-time farmer, nurseryman, home logger, or light commercial contractor, you need a Magnatrac HYDRO to get your work done faster, easier, and at less cost than ever before.